Today, we're going on a safari.
And this time without the oops. We hope. Stuff you can look up after the journey.
We checked in at the shop before heading to the dock. It's just a half block away, and when we arrived at the dock, we found this guy, paddling around and sharing his cuteness with everyone waiting in line. There was also this curlew and a sea lion. What a great way to kick off this cruise with wildlife before we even step foot aboard the 27-foot pontoon boat.
You've been out with us before. My name is Joe. I'm the owner of the Elkhorn Slough Safari and captain of the vessel we'll be heading out on today. And just a few quick boarding notes for you here before we head on down. We've got a pretty full boat today, so you're going to be seated in twos for the most part.
And then how many were in your party? Two. All right, give me just 1 second.
How long have you been working here? As naturals?
3 years.
Love it?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to have a full board party of two. Watch your step coming around the corner.
Yes, we are on the Elkhorn Slough Safari, taking a little wade out into the Elkhorn Slough, finding out more about it, its animals,
Okay, so we're going to get
with Captain Joe.
Suited up with a life jacket here. Got safety first. The Coast Guard says. So the snazzy blue life jacket, you're going to put it on like a backpack. You got 3 clips up the front. I recommend starting with the bottom and working your way up so you don't skip any or cross them.
Okay, so we tried this last time, and
We had mic issues
there was no sound.
at all. The
At
whole
all.
Time.
So what you're going to see today is actually a compilation between the two trips, and we hope you absolutely love it. I don't think we could possibly beat that opening act, but we're going to try.
Elkhorn Slough, take 2.
Before we get started, I'm just going to tell you all a little history of how our town got its name. So back behind us, there's a bridge, and there used to be a dock where ships could come and do their landing. Now that was made by a man named Captain Charles Moss, which is why the town is called Moss Landing. So Captain Moss envisioned this as a great seaport, and it was for a while, until the Southern Pacific Railroad came and took most of his business. But he did get the town named after him. And up about 7 miles into Elkhorn Slough, there's an area called Hudson's Landing, and Captain Moss had grains like barley and wheat that he'd bring down into the harbor and send off on ships to San Francisco during the gold rush. Now that's just a little history of our town before the animals steal the show.
And it wasn't long at all before the animals began to steal the show, and we could hear the sea lions barking at each other while splashing around in the water or relaxing tumbled together on the docks. Sea lions belong to the family of pinnipeds, specifically to the eared seal category. Unlike seals, you can see the ears on sea lions, and the way their bodies are made, they walk on land better as well. Their back flippers allow them to reach burst speeds of up to 25 miles per hour. Their normal speed is between 6 and 18 miles per hour. They tend to take up space wherever they please, which doesn't make the boaters as happy as the tourists.
We're in the Western Flyer. This is actually the original vessel that author John Steinbeck took down to the Sea of Cortez and Richards back in 1940.
In an upcoming video, we get to tour the shipworks that rebuilt the Flyer and even take a tour on board this finished boat. Yep, the day job does have some great perks.
As you can see, this morning is quite foggy. It is the middle of August, August 11th, and yeah, we still see some fog here in the Monterey area.
Kayaking is very popular here since it gets you so much closer to the wildlife. In fact, this is where we got our first on-boat sighting of a sea otter. There are over 3,500 sea otters in this area of California, up from the 150 when the population was severely endangered. Still considered threatened, the population continues to grow. Into the slough, right under the PCH. Mornings on the California coast can start off very foggy or perfectly blue. We were concerned we wouldn't see many otters due to the low visibility, but our worries were baseless as we almost immediately saw this mom and pup pair, a loon, and these harbor seals lazing on the shoreline. Southern sea otters often sleep in groups called rafts. These are either males grouped together or females with pups. Otters don't have a pupping season. They give birth at all times of the year. This means that you have as much of a chance of seeing babies in December as you do in April. We loved the drifting fog along the wetlands, but we were delighted by some of the surprises on the trip, like these double-crested cormorants fishing the eelgrass as they swam past us. Such cool birds, and we even got to see one catch a fish. Though we were all a bit concerned he grabbed one too big to swallow. But we all cheered when he did.
Yay! Yeah, so river otters and sea otters are related. They're all in the mustelid family.
The captain and the naturalist tell you a lot about the animals and the area, and they are happy to answer any questions you have too.
So it's amazing how different it is today with the fog, the overcast. We're seeing different pods of animals, lots of different birds. There's some things, of course, that are still the same, but it's fun, so it's worth more than one tour.
The boat does have to stay a distance away from the animals, and that's why kayaking here is so great, but don't get too close. They are super cute, but those teeth and jaws are powerful enough to crack open clam and crab shells.
You see those wooden posts that are the little remnants of a levee.
One time when there were some levees here in
Captain's talking about them now.
Back in 1946, when the Army Corps of Engineers opened up our harbor mouth, it exposed this wetland to direct tidal influence that it didn't previously have.
Now the forester and Caspian terns love this area. In fact, my favorite tern photo is from this area, taken on the other side of the estuary.
One of the things I'm finding amazing today is that you see fog like this.
And then it's bright and sunny. A reminder to wear sunscreen even if it's overcast or foggy.
Now that guy didn't pop back up. So a sea otter can go underwater for about 8 minutes, but the average dive is usually just 1 to 2.
But we did see more harbor seals lounging happily in the mud. Notice that they're not laying all over each other like the sea lions do. This trip isn't a straight into the slough and back out again. We often went sideways or turned all the way around to get a better look for everyone.
Have about one pup a year, and that's because they're going to be pregnant for about 6 months, and then they're going to have their pup with them for about 6 months before they're weaned. And sea otter pups are born without any natural instincts, so they have to learn everything from their mom. So
The animals made us laugh, but sometimes we were just amazed, such as when we found this sandbar where the birds looked like they were defying gravity, or when the pelicans skimmed the water. So cool. There is a kayak rental place, Kayak Connection, nearby, but you can also take another tour company out here. LCAT allows all ages, whereas the Safari allows ages 3 and up. Both get you close enough to see the sea otters. Southern sea otters get to be about 4 feet long and weigh up to 70 pounds. This makes them the smallest marine mammal in North America. They range the central coast of California from as far north as San Mateo County and as far south as Santa Barbara, but the majority are right here in Monterey. Each safari lasts between an hour and a half and 2 hours. There is no restroom, so make sure to go before boarding. There are nearby free restrooms at the dock. As of August of 2024, it costs $43 for adults, $40 for seniors 65 and older, and $33 for children ages 3 to 12. There are even specialty tours, including a photo tour and a birding tour in the winter, and a marine mammal baby tour in the spring. There are even private charters for those larger groups of over 8 members that will save you money.
And inside the mouth of the slough, you can fish up until it becomes the marine sanctuary, and then you can't fish, but up in the mouth of the slough for probably, a mile or so from the bridge,
Right.
you can fish. We got some people doing some serious fishing over there.
Among other fish, you can catch bass, perch, and flounder from this area of the slough. Sea otters are a keystone species. That means if the otters are doing well, then that's a great indicator that the rest of the habitat is doing well too. Here they feed on crabs that live in the eelgrass, keeping that population under control, as well as protecting the tall grasses they use as an anchor while they sleep. Harbor seals are the smallest and most common seal. Each can weigh up to 285 pounds and be 6 feet in length. The slough is home to over 340 bird species, such as egrets and terns. Here is one of the few places brown pelicans call home. There are also lots of different shorebirds, such as curlews and godwits. Otters are more active around midday. The first trip we made out here started at 1:15, so the otters had decided to spend more time napping than playing. The second trip started at 11:15, so by the end of it, we still had otters playing nearer to the boat. So it's a trade-off, more sun or more otters. Sea otters wrap up in the eelgrass together in a raft or alone so they won't drift away with the tides. The fact that the grasses hold snacks is just a great bonus. The harbor seals, however, were just waking up and smacking the water to make us go away. But we were all still just enjoying the otters who ventured close to the boat, seeming to be just as interested in us as we were in them. We knew the cruise was almost over when we saw the bridge and the iconic stacks of Moss Landing. They are no longer in use, but such a landmark the community lobbied to keep them intact. Soon we were back under the bridge and to the cormorants, both brant and double-crested, as well as the guillemots with their red feet and our favorite beach in the area. For those of you who remember that I get seasick really super easily, I didn't even feel a twinge on this boat on either of the trips we took. So if you have little kids or family members like me, chances are really good they'll be just fine. In fact, none of us got sick. It was just smooth and peaceful as we made our way back into the marina, past the Western Flyer, and to the barking sea lions again. Don't forget to look for all the hidden artwork along the way. We had never noticed it before. The sea lions had moved to the top of a dock and were even more vocal than when we left them that morning, making everyone laugh. They have such sweet puppy-like faces. We also saw the Rachel Carson, the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, MBARI boat. Even if you're not much of a boat person, this is one pretty marina, with its old boats and new ones. And there are lots of walking paths along the slough and to the beaches from here. That guy was here last week too. Thanks for the welcome, big guy.
Okay, so I think take 2 was a success.
Well, both were successful.
Yes.
I mean, as far as seeing wildlife and everything like that. The interesting thing about it to me was, it's 2 different days. So we're a week apart, and it had a totally different personality than last week. Today was foggy, a bit chilly. I think we saw more. A
lot more birds.
We saw a lot more birds last time. And I think the reason there weren't as many birds is because there was a ton more kayakers and people on paddle boards out in the slough than there was last week. But converse to that, I think we saw more otters than we did this week than we did last week. So it's kind of a trade-off.
That might have had to do with the more foggy weather. When we were here last week, we were here in the afternoon. That was the afternoon sailing. And a lot of the otters were like wrapped up in the eelgrass sleeping. And this time they were actually out in the middle of the water and playing. And so that was a lot of fun. But they said there were 60 otters and 4 of those were pups. Last week there was like almost 40 with a couple of pups. It was fun both times. I think you could come and do the safari quite a few different times and still see different animals, different birds each time.
So it's very interesting. So it's fun.
All right, we're starving. We're gonna take you to one of our favorite places. Let's go. All right, we're totally giving away a local secret. Salina City Barbecue. We'd put their brisket up against anybody's. Come here, try it, prove us wrong.
If you love barbecue, you are going to want to check this one out when you come to visit Monterey County. Salina City Barbecue cannot be beat. Not only is the food delicious, that brisket is tender and juicy, and the garlic bread is amazing, but it is a wonderful treat to grab while you're in the area.
Hey folks, so we're wrapping up today's adventure at Salina City Barbecue. Like we said, we'll hold this barbecue and this brisket up against anybody in the country. So come on in, taste it, check it out.
It really is one of the secrets in Monterey County. Come down to downtown Salinas, enjoy.
Check it out. We're even taking home cobbler to go.
They make a great berry cobbler.
Yeah.
We just usually don't have room after the brisket to actually eat it.
That's why it's going home in the doggy bag.
Exactly. Okay, everybody, take care. Safe travels.
And we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
We couldn't find out much about these vintage brass sculptures. If you know anything, tell us about them in the comments, or just say hi. This is where we sincerely thank you for hitting that like button. We hope you had a great time adventuring with us today, and will choose to hit the subscribe button as well. If you're already subscribed, thank you. Recently, we found 4 of our favorite channels where we had been unsubscribed from YouTube without knowing it, so please do take a moment to make sure you're still subscribed to ours. We love having you with us on this journey. And if you're looking for even more stuff to do here in Monterey County, check out last week's video about the Monterey Zoo.